right, Padres get the split. After a tough start to the series, they finished the road trip 5-5. They're coming home. Trade deadline is only about 96 hours, actually less than that away. That'll be Thursday afternoon. So we're here to react to it all. Padres behind offense. You think about what they did here on the road trip. Yeah, 5-5, but they did score 7 or more runs 4 times. That's something they hadn't done at all in their previous 28 games. So they get the split. They pound out 16 hits today. They win going away behind Stephen Kolek and Manny Machado 9-2. And let's react to it all with the trade deadline approaching. The Padres currently sitting 1 game up on the final wild card in the National League. So John and Jim with you. Please subscribe to this channel. We'd love to get to 9,000 subscribers with your help by the end of the trade deadline, which is only 4 days away, which means we need you to subscribe. So please, if you are here live or on replay, consider subscribing to this channel. We appreciate your support of this channel with the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. We'll get to all of your super chats here tonight. We'll pull those up on screen and react. And we just appreciate your support. So, impressive the way the series started to end it like this. I mean, they were kind of on the brink of returning home limping, but they respond. They get up off the mat, so to speak, Jim. They win after the benches clearing incident, maybe igniting the Padres. The first one in the series didn't, but the second one certainly did. And we'll get into that as well. As the Padres win on Sunday, they win on Saturday, and they're coming back home.
It was funny. We talked on Friday night. You brought up the point, like, can this team not get like motivated from a benches clearing brawl? Can they stop getting punked as a team? Like, can they go out and can they respond? They didn't respond on Friday night, but coming back Saturday, playing the way they did, it was a prototypical Padres game, low scoring. Randy Vasquez, I mean, that's been Randy Vasquez's starts all year long. Like, anybody that's still complaining about Randy Vasquez getting pulled after 4 2/3 hasn't been watching Randy Vasquez pitch all year long, because that's been what they've been doing with Randy Vasquez, and it's worked for the entirety of the season. So when you're watching a Randy Vasquez start, that's what a Randy Vasquez start looks like. He'll strike out nobody. He'll walk basically nobody. He won't allow many runs. And he'll give you 4 2/3. And if the team has the lead, they go to the bullpen. And more often than not, the bullpen finishes the game. So stop complaining about Randy Vasquez getting pulled after like 4 2/3. That's been what they've been doing all year long, and it's worked. And then the bench is clearing last night. I fully admit I did not see it real time because I was out. Me and Aaron went on a date. Because we need to have lives a little bit. But I was like, I looked at my phone after late when I got home. I was like, what the hell happened? I didn't realize Manny Machado and John Jay had this like epic falling out here. Like, it was crazy. And it woke up Manny today, at least. Today was a giant FU game from Manny Machado. And that's something you'll love to see. It motivated him. Maybe it motivated the team. They played really good baseball today. And a 5-5 road trip. I said to start, like, just go 5-5 and then take 2 or 3 from the Mets. Now the Mets have won 7 in a row and they just swept the Giants. But still, if you can find a way to take 2 or 3 here versus the Mets before the trade deadline, you're 9 games up and you feel really good.
I mean, the good news is, like, to your point on Machado, he didn't need to be woken up. His team did. He's had multiple hits in 5 consecutive games. He is scorching hot. I think it's the first time he's done it in forever. And that did continue today. It wasn't just him. It was his teammates. I mean, 16 hits in this game, which means 12 came from someone other than Manny Machado, and they jumped on St. Louis early in this game. I did happen to be watching this as it played out, and it definitely did elevate once John Jay, who was the only player ejected, by the way, just got in the face of Manny Machado. And that's when it like re-escalated, because it was not really anything of particular interest other than Machado. I give the plate umpire a ton of credit because he took what Machado was saying. Machado was just heated. He's like, I got hit twice, not
as
one.
He should.
Right, completely as he should. And then it was de-escalating, and then John Jay got in there, and then it re-escalated, and it could have gotten bad. I actually credit Manny Machado and the Padres for not allowing that to happen. But listen, if it took that to get the team going, remember, they get St. Louis again. coming up after the trade deadline. So if it took that to get the Padres going, who are still in a dogfight here. I mean, Cincinnati's won 4 straight. Padres lead as a game over the final wild card. They actually entered the 10-game road trip, only a half game up. They gained ground on the wild card over those 10 games by going 5-5. And we said 5-5 was a suitable result, and that's exactly what they do. They go 5-5. It's a fine result. As much panicking as there was in there, you can absolutely live with it. They're into their final, 55 or 60 games of the year. The trade deadline is coming, and they're kind of in position to be in position. Now they got to take advantage of it, but they didn't bury themselves. They didn't go 3-7. They went 5-5, and they're in fine position considering everything we know. Hopefully, upgrading this roster in the next 72 plus hours.
Yeah, they have a kind of bipolar personality where, as a team, where they'll play really good and then they'll follow it up with a couple really bad games.
Absolutely.
So that's where the frustration comes in. You're like, can these guys be consistent?
Yep.
And, the middle of last week, they lost 4 in a row, and then they play really solid baseball over the weekend here. And you're like, you feel much different about your things, It's just a weird. I still need to see it consistently from them to really fully buy in. But they're doing what they need to do to keep their head above water. And with how the teams are playing behind them, other than the Reds, Giants are just awful. Cardinals, Cardinals are now only a game above 500, but you look at them and you're like, I don't know if they're going to be true contenders against you. And Arizona's already told you that they're selling, and they're now 4 games under 500, 6 back of you. The Reds are the team that's, kind of on your tail. They've won 4 in a row. They're a game behind. As we get closer to the middle of August, or not middle of August, but as we get closer to August and we get closer to the dog days, things are starting to, shape up here in the National League. But if they just had one more hot stretch in them, just a week and a half hot stretch, they could create some distance between them and, the other teams behind them.
100%. You're right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a war of attrition. You're going to be fighting with one other team for a playoff spot. You're not going to be fighting with 4. There's going to be a couple of teams to fall off. Maybe that's happening right now. And maybe Cincinnati does. We'll see what Cincinnati does over the next 3 or 4 days. But it's almost just by simple math. The Padres are going to be in position from now and through the end of the regular season. The question is, can they avoid playing poorly, basically, over the final third of the year. All right, guys, make sure to subscribe to this channel. We have year-round content for you. We're trying to get to 9,000 subscribers by the end of the trade deadline Thursday night, so please subscribe if you haven't as of yet. We will be here for you for the next few days on John and Jim and the wrap-up show. We're here for you actually all year, obviously, on the wrap-up show. And thank you for the super chats. Just click that $ below the chat box. Gary, what's going on, man? Thank you for your support of the channel. Good to have you here. He says, hey, guys. Which teams are looking for a closer like Suarez and a second baseman like Cronenworth? We can flip them. We can flip the prospect yield to Atlanta for Sean Murphy. I'm not convinced Sean Murphy's going anywhere. And then secondly, I don't see any scenario where both of those players would move from the Padres perspective. I mean, maybe one of them would move. I'm not a fan of taking away from the bullpen. The bullpen is the true strength of this team. I don't think it's necessary to accomplish your goals. Shoot, the bullpen is how you reach your goals, truthfully. And I'm not convinced on Cronenworth either. We'll see about Cease, and we'll see about any other options that AJ Preller has. But we'll see how they do it, Jim. I mean, is it addition by subtraction or not? We've heard that a lot. I think a lot of people start with Dylan Cease when they start that conversation, but we'll see how they do it over the next 3+ days.
I think it would be a huge mistake to trade Suarez. I think it'd be a mistake to trade Cronenworth. I do think, Seth Lugo got a contract extension today from the Royals. His name is now off the market. I think as we get closer and closer to the deadline, Cease's name will be heating up even more and more.
I agree.
And his start tomorrow, he starts tomorrow, right? Yeah.
He's tomorrow, and then it's TBA. They're going to move Darvish back, it appears.
Which is interesting.
Yep.
I'm going to try not to read too much into it.
I know, but it still is interesting.
But still, it's like, okay.
Yep.
If Cease has a good outing tomorrow, I bet you AJ Preller's sitting there and please have a good outing tomorrow. Because if he goes out tomorrow and he goes like 4 2/3, gives up like 5 runs and walks 3, strikes out 6, it's not going to help
Not helping.
his trade value.
Nope.
He goes out tomorrow and shoves. I think Preller would like that a lot. Now, on the flip side, he goes out there and shoves, and you're like, do I really want to trade this guy away? Because we do need help in the rotation. I mean, there's now questions with you, Darvish. There's no doubt about it. We don't know this, like how Michael King will look when he returns. Nick Pavetta's our only good starter in the rotation, along with Randy Vasquez. But Randy Vasquez
Stephen Kolek.
and Stephen Kolek. But Randy Vasquez games aren't going to be games where he eats a bunch of innings, especially if they have the lead. It's just not. It does feel like they're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you do, then you might be able to get some pieces back to really help the other parts of your team. But you also now have this hole in your rotation of a guy that gave you innings. Now they weren't like anything great. I mean, his ERA is 4.58.
Yep.
Right. And he's 3-10 over, this year. But if you don't, he can still pitch the way he's pitching, and you weren't able to go out and get the upgrades that you needed to go get. And, you don't upgrade your team, and then he leaves for nothing in free agency, and it feels like deja vu all over again.
Well, I would say this too. Let's say he shoves. Then it's 2 of his last 3 starts. He's been really good because his first start after the All-Star break was really good. Mm-hmm. So this to me is like the pendulum swing. If you're good here, is he good? If he's bad here, is he just bad? Like this to me is a very telling 2 out of 3 start. And to your point, I mean, the Mets are red hot. To pitch well against the Mets would be certainly impressive. Considering his year and considering, the Mets are a team that still could be tracked down. It's not going to be easy, especially the way that they're playing right now. But I'm with you. I mean, it's a significant start. You have no idea. We have no idea what AJ Preller is cooking up, so to speak. We just don't. Obviously, it's been quiet. Truthfully, around baseball, it's been quiet. It still could be for another day. We don't know if the Padres are going to act tomorrow. We don't know if they're going to act on Tuesday. At some point, you're going to see something, but it could be Tuesday and Wednesday, and the deadline's Thursday, and they're off. So there's no guarantee. I'm with you. Here's the one thing I would say on Cease. He's not moving before the start. No. They're handcuffed enough with pitching. I don't see how you would spot start Monday against the New York Mets just to move this player. So he's going to pitch Monday for you. I think they need him to pitch Monday for them. And we'll see. I'm very curious how he does pitch, and I'm curious if he ends up moving. I could be convinced either way, dude. If he stays, I could sell you on why that makes sense. If he goes, I can sell you on why that makes sense, and then we'll see how the story plays out over the final 2 months of the season based on what happens.
Yeah, because you're like, if he pitches well tomorrow, it would help his trade value because you're like, 2 of his last 3 starts have been really good.
Right.
Actually, I can't even say the Mets, the start against the Marlins was bad because it wasn't his fault.
Well, was that the 5 innings, 2 runs or 3 runs or something?
It was 5 innings, 2 earned, 3 allowed because of an error.
That's not bad.
Like, let me just look here. So they lost 4-3. Oh, wait, no, that was a Kolek. Wait, what game was it? No, it was Wednesday. That's what it was. Yeah, what was it? See here. Cease went 5, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No. His last, over his last 7 starts, he's got a 5.21 ERA, though.
Yeah.
But his last 3 starts are 6 innings, 6 earned runs against the D-backs, that grand slam. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
5 1/3, no earned runs, 10 strikeouts, no walks against the Nationals. And then 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks against the Marlins. So we'll see. But his name to me still remains the likeliest to be traded of the players at the big league level. I would be surprised if anybody else gets dealt. The more you see, the more rumors that you you hear and read about like Luis Robert Jr., like the Phillies are going hard after Luis Robert Jr. now. It's not, you have to remind yourself, it's not just AJ Preller out there cherry picking who he wants. He's competing with 29 other, well, not 29, but you get my point. He's competing with the rest of baseball, the rest of teams in baseball that are contenders for players in the trade market. And a team could easily look at Preller's deal and like the Cincinnati Reds deal for the same player and go, we like the Reds deal better. And there's nothing Preller could do about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. But by the way, ESPN has updated tonight their 50 players that could move at the deadline and the percentage chance of moving. Now, you had Dylan Cease earlier in the week with a 100% chance of moving. Jeff Passan and Kyler McDaniel have it at 25%. That there is a 25%. They say he's a late addition to the conversation, which makes sense, maybe nationally, but they give it a 25% chance of Dylan Cease being moved. Says they are at the very least listening. And with Cincinnati and San Francisco breathing down their necks for the final NL wildcard slot, AJ Preller could try to get creative, the C word, in upgrading his roster. So we'll see. I mean, 25%, that doesn't mean he isn't moving, and it doesn't mean he is moving. It will be a definitive answer over the next 3+ days. JD Gatcher, thank you, man, for the super chat. Guys, if you're here, about 350 of you are here live right now. Please subscribe to this channel. Thank you for the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. We appreciate it. We'll be with you all week long, getting ready for the trade deadline on John and Jim, and also on the wrap-up show as the Mets and Padres tangle for the next 3 days. He says props to the Padres hitting McGreevy. The starter for St. Louis. He was awful. Worst start of his short career. I always root for UC Santa Barbara alums. He will have better days. I would hope so. Otherwise, he'll be in AA because you can't get hit much harder than he was here today. The Padres offense was terrific today.
Yep.
I mean, everyone got involved. Literally everyone. I mean, Xander Bogaerts is hitting home runs, and Bryce Johnson is on base a ton, and Fernando Tatis Jr. is on base a ton. I mean, everyone, 16 hits, man. They had 16 hits the other day and no runs or whatever it was. Tonight they had 16 hits and they scored runs.
Mm-hmm. And you just hope, like, you're just, what was the thing you told me today? It's like, it feels like it's been like 2 months of, the Padres are about to get hot again. And then they just go, like, oh man,
there was something. It was,
he's heating up, and it's like, we've been trying to will this into existence for a long time, 2 months here.
Completely, absolutely.
I will continue to say, can they stay consistent? And I'm not saying score 9 runs per game, but don't have. Whoa!
Don't die. Want to get water?
I'm okay.
Okay.
What I was trying to say before I almost died was, can they be consistent and not have stretches where they look like they did last week against the Marlins and then the first game against St. Louis? Or sorry, the second game against St. Louis. First game against St. Louis, it's like 150 degrees, just they scored 7 runs, but Darvish sucked. But then game 2 was a complete failure. Can they string together a 2-week stretch where they hit 350 with runners in scoring position? I mean, that's a super high number, but you could do it for a short period of time. Like a 2-week stretch, hit, 320 with runners in scoring position. You know how long that would, like, a long way that would go. Oh my God.
I agree. Well, let me just say this, because you're right. There's going to be ebbs and flows, but like if we widen it out, and this is from AC Postgame, their offense has been actually markedly better, right? So 4 of the 10 games on the road trip, 7 or more runs. Mm-hmm. They didn't do that in their previous 28 games. One time. Then how about this? In July, they hit 257. Over their previous 42 games, they hit 28 points lower than that. How about this? They've had 10 or more hits in 9 of their last 20. They had 10 or more hits in 9 of their previous 48. So their offense has been better. Now, I'm not going to sell you that their offense has been good or great, but their offense has been better. Now that has to continue, and you're 100% right. And 5-5 is 5-5. At the end of the day, it's not this spectacular road trip like they enjoyed last year when they went 8-2. But at least there are signs of life, is what I would say. Now, maybe those signs of life are even greater once they make a real addition, and maybe that real addition is worth just another, 5-7 per batting points overall on the team over the next month. But you turn your 257 batting average into 262 or whatever it is, and you can start seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. So I think their offense is improved. I'm not selling you on it being a good offense, but it's an improving offense that needs to continue. They can probably be flawed, Jim, and make the postseason. I mean, they've gotten to 57-49 with everything that they've got to this point, and they're in a playoff position. So they don't have to be perfect. But I'm with you. Hopefully the trends continue with the offense, and they can finish off this regular season and get into the postseason.
Yeah, and to that point, what would you guess their record is in July so far in 22 games?
And they were 6-4 on the way in. I'd say 1 or 2 over. So 11-11 or 12-10.
They're 12-10.
12-10. Okay. Yeah.
Fine month.
Sold on that. Yep.
Take 2 or 3 here. You're 13-11. Right? No.
14-11. That's decent. 14-11 is decent.
12-11. Such an idiot. 14-11. That's a good month. You're not asking to be like, hey, can you go 10 over 500 in a month? No, 14-11. Right. That's a good month. Now you get to August, and that's when the real work begins. In 28 games in August, what can your record be in 28 games?
Would you agree 14-14 or better, and you're at least in position?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, 100%. I think they can do better than that, but we'll see. I mean, you play St. Louis this upcoming weekend again. Yep. Then you play Arizona. Arizona's, they're waving the white flag, but still
never know in one series.
Still, you never know. And then Boston and the Giants twice, and the Dodgers twice, and then on the road to Seattle and Minnesota. You just don't know. But
I completely agree.
But if they can manage to get through August, at worst 14-14 in this 28 games, you would like
should be all right.
If they go 15-13 in 28 games in August, they're gonna make the postseason, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the only caveat is like Cincinnati. Like if I don't know anything about the Reds schedule or what, let's say Cincinnati went on a Padres run, they're like last year, they go 19-9. That's when you get in trouble. When a team takes off, look at the Mets, right? Look at the Blue Jays. When a team takes off, and it's impossible to predict. I don't think it would be the San Francisco Giants. I'm not overly compelled that it'll be the Reds, even though they've won 4 straight games. But I mean, the one thing you can't, you have no control over is another team's results. And when a team gets hot, Detroit second half last year, San Diego second half last year, Toronto right now, New York Mets right now, that stuff, when that gets out of your control, that's where things can get concerning. But then again, Cincinnati could go 19-9, and who's to say the Mets don't go 9-19 over a 28-game stretch? That's the thing. It's unpredictable.
And the Padres do play the Reds in September in a 3-game series here at Petco Park. So if you're competing with them for the final wild card spot at that time, you'll get to face them. So, it could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how that series would go, or if they're even close to each other.
Did you see he made 2 really good plays today? The one play he made was phenomenal.
Oh my God!
Brando's Modern Life. Thank you, man, for the super. Yeah, that was such a I don't know, just off the cuff. Like you don't prepare for something like that. So the way he flipped an underhand flip on the dirt to Cronenworth, and credit to Cronenworth, who didn't try to glove it, but barehanded it, and it was not an easy barehand. The more you watch it, it's a challenging play. That was a spectacular defensive play. Padres, by and large, have played some pretty good defense. Iglesias is a brilliant defender, and that's been on display a lot this year. He is a really good, versatile infielder, and that was a terrific play. You'd like to see his bat provide more punch for this team the final third of the season. I think it's at least possible But he's a nice little piece for them potentially. He's like that one piece off the bench that I can be sold on because his defense is good. He plays multiple positions. In theory, he's got an average to above average bat. So I think he sticks is my point for the remainder of the year.
I think he sticks too because he provides defensive versatility.
Yep.
If anything, if that's valuable in itself right there. And it's not just he provides good defense off your bench. He provides exceptional defense off your bench at multiple positions.
Yep.
And so, while he can't hit a lick and he's got a 565 OPS this year and, he's 3 for his last 21, he can give you exceptional Gold Glove defense at third or at second. And I think that, if I'm if I'm in a late game situation in the postseason, like I might want to have Jake at first and Jose Iglesias at second.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, he brings value as an everyday player right now for him. No, but player off your bench, like, yeah, he's not great offensively. He sucks, but defensively, he's a Gold Glove caliber defensive replacement.
It was probably predictable the calibration off last year. He was so due.
I know,
to not get close to his numbers from a year ago, and that's definitely played out. But yeah, I think on a depth piece in a postseason roster, I can make a really good argument for him to be on a postseason roster because of his late inning value, his pinch hitting value. Truthfully, I mean, again, he has enough value, certainly from the Padres perspective. I think that he's going to stick beyond the trade deadline, and he would likely be on a postseason. I'd be shocked actually if he stuck around all year and he wasn't on a postseason roster for the Padres.
Real quick, the other player that has earned his roster spot lately has been Bryce Johnson. I think Bryce Johnson,
unbelievable, dude. The guy's always on base.
I know. I think Bryce Johnson and Jose Iglesias, if I'm reshaping this bench, those are the two that would survive. And I guess, look, if you want to keep the catcher, whatever, but right now, to me, Tyler Wade and Trenton Brooks are completely replaceable.
They got to go. You need to add some power. So 100%. I'm with you on Bryce Johnson, but you have to have power. So someone's got to go, even by musical chairs. Honestly, 100%. 2 have to go, but 1 has to go.
Yep. And that one person is Trenton Brooks. To me, I would replace Trenton Brooks and Tyler Wade, but if they only replace one, it's the easiest call in the world. It's Trenton Brooks, not even close. And I do think that's what will happen is AJ will get at least one piece to put on his bench to replace with replace Trenton Brooks with. At least one piece. I would want 2, but again, easier said than done.
All right, we're going to talk about it all over the next 30 plus minutes. So subscribe to this channel and smash the like button and follow us on X. And thank you for the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. The trade deadline is approaching. We do want to thank our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz. He's been with us, as you guys know, since day 1 of the wrap-up show, which, crazy enough, is 4 years on YouTube. So if you have an insurance need, trust us. We've done business with Mark for 4+ years. I've got a homeowner's, earthquake, and life insurance policy. He does auto as well. So before you renew your current policy, get in contact with Mark. He's going to save you money. And if you ever need him, he's got great service and communication. He really does. He's going to be there for you. Whenever you need him, trust us. He will be there for you. Click that link in the description down below to get free quotes from his website. Call Mark. He'll talk to you about the Padres. He'll talk to you about free quotes for your insurance needs as well. So whatever it is, auto, home, renters, life, earthquake. He is a diehard Padres fan, a native San Diego, and a supporter of this channel. If you support this channel, please get in contact with Mark Nimitz.
Yeah, all his information is on that ticker below, and nimitz@farmersagent.com. When you reach out to Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
Okay, so Padres again coming home. Frankie Montas, Dylan Cease. Guys have had actually comparable years, and that'll be tomorrow, and then it's TBA for the Padres. We'll see on Yu Darvish, and we'll see on this impending trade deadline as well. Padres are off on Thursday, and we'll play Wednesday afternoon. The actual deadline is on Thursday. Don't you feel as if it's been pretty quiet in terms of the reporting on AJ Preller over the weekend, at least? Yes, he's linking to every player, but it does feel a little bit like he's lurking.
He's lurking.
And he's lurking right now, and it's very challenging to know what he's actually planning to do. Does it involve a trade of salary on his major league roster? Does it not? Does it involve big swings or does it not? We've heard a little bit of both over the last couple of weeks, but he's certainly lurking, and I'm primed for something. I just don't, it's impossible to predict when, but I'm primed for something happening sooner rather than later.
As I said earlier in the show, I mean, it takes two to tango.
Sure
If the
does.
Reds and the Padres are going after a certain player, I'll just throw Luis Roberts' name out there. All right. And the White Sox like the Reds deal more, there's nothing you can do about it. And I hope AJ wouldn't be like, well, you know what? Let me overpay. So maybe the White Sox don't even acknowledge, like, don't even call the Padres back. They're like, hey, we'll give you a decision in a while. And then all of a sudden, the bottom line ticker on MLB Network, it says the Reds just traded for Luis Robert Jr. They don't have to call you. There's nothing like that says the White Sox have to let you know that they're going with another deal, right? And that's AJ's job to make sure that he offers the best deal he possibly can. So these things are always tricky. I mean, look at 2021. Thought I had Max Scherzer in the bag. Guess what? Well, Ken Rosenthal had a lot to do with it, leaking that report for the Dodgers, by the way. But still, Dodgers, made an offer, and it might not have been a better offer than what the Padres were offering, but the Nationals took the Dodgers offer instead. Yeah. So, like, these things are always tricky. This is not just a AJ Preller can go out and get whoever he wants thing, even though, he has a good track record of honing in on a player and identifying that player and not stopping until he gets that player. And that player might be Jarren Duran. We'll have to see. But I think this thing might go down to the wire now. Or, we could get a trade the next couple of days, but it does feel like if there wasn't a trade this weekend, this thing could go down to the wire on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. I've tried to keep up with it as much as is possible. And it's just impossible. I mean, what's going to happen is you're going to see the Jeff Passan tweet or the Dennis Lin tweet, right? Whatever you're going to see is what you're going to see, Kevin, whomever it is. And that will maybe be a first domino of a number of dominoes, or that'll be the primary domino. I mean, it's so hard to know. I'm looking forward to it. I do feel as if, they don't have to make crazy upgrades to get to the postseason. But I think it would help. There's still a third of the season to go. And then, it's one thing to get to the postseason. We always talk about this. It's another thing to advance. What gives you your best chance to advance? Does it really give you a better chance to advance trading Dylan Cease? I mean, maybe. He's had no success in his postseason career, but I still need more on Michael King. Like, he's throwing a sim game tomorrow, 2 days before the trade deadline. You better have a lot of data and information if you're AJ Preller off that, whatever happens July 28th, because if you believe something on King and that backfires on you, we've gone down this path, Jim. I remember Joe Musgrove, I think, going on an IL a day or two after a deadline, and that was just absurdly bad luck. Dude. So it's like you better know everything you need to know about Michael King and Yu Darvish right now, because if you're trading Dylan Cease and you're wrong on Michael King and Yu Darvish, there is no path to a World Series parade, unfortunately. So you better be locked up with that information sooner rather than later if you're the Padres.
Yeah, if you trade Cease and all of a sudden Darvish in a week, goes on the IL and King takes a little longer to return, you're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. And you don't make it. Now, he could go out and trade for a pitcher as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he could trade Dylan Cease, flip that, get some pieces back, and then in turn trade for a starter to replace Cease's innings. But I mean, that is like, and also need to get one or two bats. Like, dude, that is a lot of freaking work at the deadline, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of work. Some teams just make like one trade for a relief pitcher or two relief pitchers, and like, we're good. I mean, AJ, I call me a little skeptical that he can get this done. He'll get something done, but to go out and address every need that you have on this team, I think is unlikely.
What would you say that is? Hear me out. Give me if you could just put magic pixie dust on the roster and you can just change it. What is addressing everything to you look like? Like you can have 5 things. You can make 5.
Is money a
upgrades
factor?
No. Magic Pixie does.
Okay, well, not trading Cease then.
Okay. That's one. That counts.
I'm. Does that count as a move?
I maybe, but I mean,
No.
I feel like that's productive if you can hold on to him and add to your team. But
It's not.
yeah.
It's not even technically a move. All right,
Right.
5 moves. I would go out, get a catcher. I
Yep.
would go out and get a right-handed bat for your bench. I would go out and get a left fielder.
Mhm.
I would go out and get. Is that 3?
That's 3. Starting pitcher
I'll go out and get a starting pitcher and a relief
and
pitcher.
a reliever.
And that would be
That's everything.
5 things right there.
Yeah, you can't ask for more than. I feel like 5. If he actually were able to do 5 things like that, you can't ask for more. It would be hard to be like, well, he didn't address everything. Well, I mean, he kind of tried. If you had a catcher, a bench piece, a left fielder, a starter, and a reliever,
If he
what else
gets,
do you want him to do?
if he gets 2 of those 5, preferably on the offensive side, like if he goes out and gets a left fielder and a starting pitcher, and then ends up trading Dylan Cease in turn, instead of one bat, instead of 2 bats, he only gets 1 bat, and he gets a starting pitcher to replace Cease, and he doesn't do anything to the bullpen. He thinks the bullpen is going to be fine the way it is. Think that's enough?
I mean, I would probably be left thinking he was going to do more because it's Preller in that scenario. He, to me, Jim, I mean, we literally have covered these so closely for, a decade that I think it will be more than that. Even if it's just tinkering at the end, like I think there'll be that 3rd and 4th trade, even if it is a bench piece as the 4th trade or a,
like the last second at the deadline, Jake Marisnick.
Exactly. Or like just not a high leverage reliever, but like a guy that's had like a sneaky year for, name the team, for Baltimore. You're like, who the hell is this? Well, he's got a 3.31. Okay. So you added him in because he's a lefty specialist, and you added your bench piece late. So I'd be surprised if it was only 1 or 2 trades. I really would, dude, just because it's AJ Preller, and I just feel like he wants to tinker and tweak and, I don't know, put his team in the best position to win. That's just how I feel about it. I kind of hope I'm right. I'm kind of preferring movement right now. I've watched these Padres for the last 100+ games, and I feel like what they have, probably needs upgrading. Truthfully, that's how I feel about it. Like what they have probably needs upgrading. Now, Michael King's maybe that upgrade. Yu Darvish pitching well, maybe that's the upgrade. Dylan Cease pitching well, maybe that's the upgrade. But I'm all for a little bit of tinkering here. I don't feel like they have this perfect roster that can't be maneuvered with. I think maybe it is time for a little bit of a shakeup to put this team in a little bit of a better position and then see what happens over the final third of the season.
I still believe if he made no moves, this team could still make the postseason.
I completely agree with that.
But can they make a run, and can they make a World Series?
Unlikely, probably, right? Of course it's unlikely. They wouldn't be the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, look at last year's team. Now, I don't know if they didn't make the moves at the deadline like they did, they would have made even the postseason, to be honest with you, because Scott and Adam were just that impactful down the stretch for them. So I feel differently about this year's team at the deadline compared to last year's team at the deadline. Last year's team, they needed some pieces, and they needed to continue to play their ass off, and they did. But, last year's team, they don't make the postseason without Scott and Adam. Would you agree?
I don't know, man. They were 43-19. Maybe, though, because you're saying it took 90-91 wins. Maybe not. It would have been closer.
Well,
maybe not.
Those 2 guys were so critical.
They were great
for them down the stretch. I don't think they make it without those 2 guys, to be honest with you. Because then instead of pitching Scott and Adam in high leverage situations, who you pitching? Yuki Matsui and Wandy Peralta.
Right. Right.
So I think last year's team benefited so much from the trade deadline. This year's team, I don't know if there's those moves that are going to be so impactful like Adam and Scott were. I think there's moves that could help them on the edges and help them on the margins, but still the main thing has to be the main thing, which is your star players have to produce and continue to produce. The margins will help you win a couple more games here and there potentially. But to go out and trade for a piece that feels like this player's helping us win every single game. I don't know if there's a player out there that could do that. Could be wrong though. I mean, they could trade for Luis Robert tomorrow and he can hit 12 home runs for the next 2 months. Right? Or
definitely Robert would be a candidate to do that because he has that. Yep. He's done it previously.
Or they trade for Luis Robert and he hits 157 with 3 home runs for you in 2 months, and they trade, for a reliever, and he has like a 4 ERA for you out of the bullpen. I
mean, to your point of the players needing to be the players, or like the stars needing to be the stars. I mean, again, some of the indicators we know about Machado, it goes without saying how red hot he is. I mean, listen to this. Toddy's last 15 games, 321, 424 on base, 518 slug. He's got a 942 OPS in his last 15. And that's not just his last 7, but he's hit 321 in his last 7. He's hit 321 as well over his last 15. So, like, again, do I want more than 2 home runs every 15 games from Fernando Tatis Jr.? You better believe it. But, like, the rest has been good. I mean, he's getting on base at a ridiculous clip, especially when you consider it to, like, his batting average this year. And I didn't look at Merrill and Arise, but you get if I looked at Bogaerts right now, what would it tell me about Bogaerts in his last, 30 games? It would tell me he's been a very good hitter over his last 30 games. So,
Luis Arise you're right. 379 over the last 7 games.
Who is?
Luis Arise hitting 379 over the last 7 games. And he's hitting 317 over his last 30.
All right. So these are the things that we've talked about obsessively,
Jackson Merrill, he is starting to have the ball find some holes. He's hitting 267 over the last 7 games. Still over the last 30. It's not good, like, at all, but a little better. It's not like what we are expecting to see from Jackson Merrill, but it's a little better. The one player that has just really struggled lately has been Gavin Sheets. Gavin Sheets has been oof. He's 4 for his last 28, John.
Yeah, but again, I can live with it and I know that Bogaerts didn't have a great series, but like over his last 30 games, I'm looking at it, he's got an 855 OPS. He's at 309 over his last 30 games. So if you're telling me Arise is heating up and Machado and Tatis have been good and Bogaerts has been better, you're not going to have all 9 of these dudes hitting. But if you have 4 or 5 of your top 6 hitting all in unison, I think that probably is a reason why they're scoring. I mean, 9 runs today, 8 runs in DC, 7 runs in Miami one game, 7 runs the other game in DC. Not perfect by any measure. I agree. But certainly I would say improving is a fair statement at this point.
Biggest reason why? Runners in scoring position. They were 6 for 19 today.
That's a lot of opportunities.
A lot of opportunities, but still, you get 6 hits with runners in scoring position. That's
huge.
With this team, you want that. And then you ironically look at the games that they've lost.
0 for 9.
0 for 9, 0 for 7,
yep.
1 for 9, and the one hit was like an infield single that didn't even score the runner from second. Like, yep. I think it's if you boil it all down, I think it's, if you want to make this as simple as possible, it's what they've done with runners in scoring position. And when they hit with runners in scoring position, they're a tough team to beat. But they can also go on stretches where the faucet gets shut off.
Completely. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I agree. I want to tell you guys about SeatGeek, and then I want to get back to Dylan Cease and what the trade that was reported, whether that was accurate or not. We have the latest on that. But before we do that, we do want to remind you about our friends over at SeatGeek. They've got a great offer for you going on right now, and that would be $20 off your order of $50 or more if you use the promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. Again, $20 off your first order of $50 or more. Just use the promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Click the link in the description. You can download the app, have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. We do want to thank our friends over at SeatGeek. Padres are, just hours away from getting back finally to Petco Park. It has been weeks. We've had Comic-Con. We've had the All-Star break. They have not been at home in about 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks and a day by the time they get home. Look at this, section 118. You can get in for under $72 per ticket with fees and then take $20 off your order with the promo code PADSWRAP. So you can sit, a handful of rows back tomorrow on a Monday at Petco for $70 a ticket. Use that promo code, get $20 off. Thanks to our friends at SeatGeek.
Yeah, and SeatGeek's MLB's official ticket marketplace. Your tickets are fully guaranteed, and they're instantly fulfilled in your account after you purchase them. Just have to make sure to use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, and each ticket's rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're going to get a good deal. If you just look for the green dots, green means good, red means bad. Use our promo code PODSWRAP when checking out, PADSWRAP.
All right. So again, please subscribe here on Content For You, and thank you for the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. We appreciate your support of this channel. We appreciate the super chat. So Alex Spire, reports this. Remember, we heard that the Padres had made a trade offer to the Red Sox that was quickly rejected. Well, Alex Spire covers the Red Sox for the Boston Globe. And he reports the Padres never made a trade offer surrounding Dylan Cease, Ethan Salas, and Jarren Duran. But the Padres are open to dealing Cease and have interest in Red Sox outfielders, including Duran, Rafaela, and Wilyer Abreu. So I don't know if that's semantics, because he says, well, they have interest, and that interest includes Duran, but they never made an offer. I don't know if that's semantics or not, but I don't know if it's true or not that Boston quickly rejected A.J. Preller or not based on Alex Spire's reporting.
I have no idea, dude, because it's like, oh, here's the trade. Here's the outline of a trade that was quickly rejected. Oh, by the way, that offer never happened. I mean, the rumor mill is exhausting. It's exhausting to keep up with because of shit like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, look, it helps with our content. I'm not complaining about that part.
Yep.
But I would love to know just like how much is just complete bullshit, which is probably more than we think, and how much is actually like legit. I think the one thing that you could say is legitimate is AJ Preller has extreme interest in Jarren Duran. I think that's the only thing that you could say that is like 100% real. Everything else to me is potential bullshit. So that's how I look at it. And
yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be interesting if they acquired a different Red Sox outfielder other than Duran, in a trade that included a rental in Dylan Cease. But yeah, it was interesting because the tweet from, I don't know, 72 hours ago, 48 hours ago, it was like, hey, they offered Salas and Cease, and for Duran, it was quickly rejected. We don't know the accuracy of that, according to Alex Spire. Jeff, what's going on, man? Appreciate you hanging out, and thank you for the super chat. He says, Three Horsemen sounds weird. Keep Suarez. Let's ride. I'm not overly compelled by moving Robert Suarez. I thought one of their true assets last year, to your point, was the back end of their bullpen. Did it end up working out in the end? No. Was it the bullpen's fault? Absolutely not. But we all get it. You shorten a game. You get 4 or 5 innings from a starting pitcher in a postseason. You leave with a 1-run lead. And when you have guys like Adrian Morejon in your bullpen that could go 5 outs, or Jeremiah Estrada or whomever else, I just don't understand any real reason to take away from that. Okay, Suarez has had his moments where he hasn't been perfect, but the guy's got a lot of experience, Jim. He's pitched in the postseason a good amount. He's a veteran pitcher. He's been through it. So I say it's kind of like the Bulls movie, like one last ride with Suarez. I mean, you've gotten to this point with him. I think you finish it off because you're better with him than without him.
I'm just looking at Saturday night. Last night, perfect example. Morejon gives you an inning, allows only 1 hit. Estrada goes in a third, strikes out 2, only allows 1 hit. Jason Adam goes an inning, walks 1, doesn't allow a run, no hits. Robert Suarez goes an inning, strikes out 1, gets the save. And their ERAs, by the way, Morejon's got a 1.72, Estrada's got a 2.66, Adams got a 1.97, and Suarez got a 3.3. His ERA's dropped down to 3.38.
It's good.
That wins you postseason games. That potentially wins you postseason series, and that can get you to a World Series. So
completely,
I am not touching that. Sorry. That is the strength of your team. That is such a weapon when it comes to postseason games that the other team is like, oh, shit. If they have the lead after 5, this is going to be difficult for us. or if they have the lead going into the fifth, like they could go multiple innings. They could piece it together. They don't all just go one inning. They all can do multiple innings. So
yeah, it's a good point. If it was game 5 of like the NLDS and you had making it up, like who you can, is a bad analogy, a bad example, but Randy Vasquez is out there because
oh shit, actually wouldn't probably be a bad option.
But he gives you 4 1/3, and he leaves up 3-2.
That's a lot, dude.
Whatever. He gives you 3
3 1/3.
Whatever. But he leaves up 3-2. And then the 5th inning, you go to freaking your 4 horsemen for the final 15 outs. So you go to 4 relievers for 15 outs. It's only an average of 4 outs or less for the 4.
Yeah.
I could see it. I could absolutely see. So I couldn't see Randy Vasquez starting that game, but I could see something like that playing out. The value of Vasquez and like Kolek today is they're getting you to the postseason. Jim, you had lost 4 straight. You turned to Vasquez and Kolek.
And you won 2
and now
again.
You've won 2 straight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's crazy.
So, like in recent memory, a team that, let's see here, really had no starting pitching, by the way.
Who, the Dodgers?
No. The 2015 Kansas City Royals won a World Series with their version of the 4 Horsemen.
Of course. That's
Greg Holland,
iconically.
Kelvin Herrera, Wade Davis, and Ryan Matson. Their ERAs.
Right.
Ryan Matson had a 2.13. Wade Davis had a 0.94 ERA that year. Okay. Kelvin Herrera had a 2.71, and their closer Greg Holland had a 3.83 ERA, but he had 32 saves. I mean, it's very similar to what the Padres have right now. Closer has an ERA in the 3s, but he gets the job done more often than not. You have 2 setup guys that are like unhittable, and then you have another guy that can throw heat. That's what the Padres bullpen is right now. And I mean, other than Wade Davis here, who had a 0.94 ERA in 69 appearances, the back end of their bullpen reminds me a lot of the 2015 Kansas City Royals. And I refer to them a lot as like, you can win a World Series with a bullpen that's lights out. That's why I thought last year they had a chance, because their bullpen and
Completely.
with Scott and Estrada and Adam
Suarez.
Morejon wasn't bad last year either.
No,
he just wasn't as good as he is now.
Yeah, he's like completely emerged. Dennis wrote about it tonight. Like Adrian Morejon is in the prime of his career, right? I mean, they're enjoying the fruits of his labor right now. That would be a foolish decision, by the way. All this talk about Suarez. I mean, imagine Adrian Morejon. He's not going anywhere. Obviously, he's controllable for another year. But I'm with you. I mean, your point is a valid one. I mean, it almost feels like we're running it back from last year in terms of their methodology to try to win a World Series, which is
the Dodgers won a World Series last year because of their bullpen, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and their offense.
Well, that too, but still, the biggest reason why they got past the Padres was because of their bullpen.
Completely, yeah, completely. It's a good point.
Your bullpen, you do not touch it, and like that's where period.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. I mean, it'll be interesting. I don't think they will, truthfully. I think that
you only add to it.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they. I think they will add. By the way, I think that's the other thing.
Good.
I think that they've been so reliant on these 4 pitchers, and they understand that it's hard to have 2 or 3 pitchers make 80 appearances in a year. They're not going to make 80, but it's even hard to have pitchers, make 75 appearances in a season. That's kind of un-Padre like. And then you have the postseason. You don't want these pitchers to be worn thin when the postseason begins, especially when you ask them to go an inning a third or an inning and 2/3, high leverage, max velocity moments in their careers. So I say add to it. That's what I would do if I was AJ. It doesn't typically cost a lot to add a nice bullpen piece. Like you're talking about giving up like your number 15 prospect for a reliever that's a rental or maybe controllable for another year. So I think that's one of those affordable things that makes a lot of sense if you're AJ Preller. And he's had success doing that at deadlines previously. And I think he probably wants to do it again.
And what's easier to acquire, a number 3 starter or 2 pretty legit bullpen arms?
The latter.
Yeah. And if you and you could look at it from an analytical standpoint of like, if we added maybe just 1 really solid bullpen arm or 2 solid bullpen arms, that can make up for potentially the loss of Dylan Cease long, in the short term, not long term. Over 162 game season, you would need a guy to eat innings. But like in the sprint that they're now about to enter here, adding 2 more bullpen arms to replace the loss of the innings from Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease ain't going out there and giving you 7 innings every outing. He's giving you like 5 2/3. So like, you got 2 more bullpen arms to put there. It could help you a lot if you traded Dylan Cease.
I just wanted to give you this, but before we get out of here in the next handful of minutes. So the Jeff Passan, Kylie McDaniel trade deadline piece has been updated tonight, and there's some new names on his list of players that could move. But when I search for the word Padres, here are the teams that are quote unquote best fits for the players, right? That the Padres are included in. Stephen Kwan, as we know.
Yep.
I don't know if there's like fireworks going off outside or like someone's firing rounds of weapons. I'm assuming fireworks. Or weapons. Stephen Kwan, Jaron Duran. Okay, those are the number 5 and 6 players on this list, by the way. Sandy Alcantara, the number 14 player on this list, we've talked about. Zach Allen, we've talked about. But here's a new name on this list. Shane Bieber. He hasn't pitched this year, but is a late entrant into the trade market, coming back from Tommy John. The best fit, the first team listed is San Diego. Taylor Ward, obviously San Diego is listed under.
Yep.
Luis Robert, San Diego is listed under. Marcelo Zuna, we've talked about.
Yep.
Adolis Garcia. Again, the Rangers have played better baseball. Maybe that would be surprising.
Yep. Yeah, the
Charlie
6 games over 500 now. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then Charlie Morton, and the other one is Adrian Hauser, White Sox starter.
Okay.
It says chance of trade 90%, not to San Diego, but chance he will be traded is 90%. And he's pitched well. He's pitched very well over the last couple of months. So just those are the names. And again, this is Jeff Passan, Kylie McDaniel. This isn't some random list.
Yeah.
This is, some of the better names that are going to cover the sport of baseball. So consider those names in the days ahead, and maybe consider some other names that we haven't talked about as well in the days ahead.
Again, everybody and anybody is on the Padres radar. Like there won't be, unless it's, a couple unless it's like Paul Skeens. I don't think anybody would really shock me if the Padres went and got that player.
Dude, Paul Skeens, how amazing. Imagine that. The Padres have acquired Paul Skeens for Ethan Salas and Dylan Cease.
Dude, what would you do if they did that? That happened.
I mean, that becomes honestly, that trumps the Juan Soto deal. You have 4.5 years of Paul Skeens control. He's the biggest pitching name in modern baseball history. He's got a sub-2 ERA career ERA maybe, or he did within the last 3 or 4 starts. I mean, it's not happening, but it would be among the biggest moves in baseball history, essentially.
It would top the Juan Soto deal.
Yeah, completely. Now, could it happen 2 years from now? Sure, but it's not happening in the next 3 days. Unfortunately, I'd love for it, but it's
I would
not
too.
happening.
For Paul Skeen's sake, I would love it for him.
Could you imagine? I mean, hey, shoot, his girlfriend, endorses Viore. They're based in San Diego, so maybe there's smoke.
On the flip side, the problem would be Paul Skeens is traded to the Dodgers.
No, don't even say that, dude. I've read something tonight. There was something on MLB trade rumors that the Dodgers will double down on their efforts to add high leverage bullpen pieces, So we haven't, it's okay. Like the off seasons when they add the Sasakis and the Otanis, you can't obsess over it. You got to obsess over your own team.
Yeah.
Padres played the Dodgers well last year until they didn't. They haven't played them well this year. They're 2-5, and they're going to meet 6 times, by the way, in the next 20 days, something like that.
Yeah. So
we'll have that conversation later on. Dodgers will make moves, but so will a number of teams that are contending with the Padres, but we got to worry about the Padres right now. All right, we do want to remind you about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. This is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. It really is. You can play along tomorrow night. Padres and Mets back at Petco. Let's play Dylan Cease, right? Could be his final start as a San Diego Padre. And we can, play against Frankie Montas. Shoot, Nando's been hot. Soto, we'll go lower on Soto just because. And if those 4 things happen, your $10 pays 208 along with 208.90. And you can couple that with, let's say, a WNBA play, and then boom, your $10 pays $417, and then you flex it, which means you don't even have to get all the picks right, and you can still win big. So use the promo code. Click the link in the description down below. Use promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. You're going to get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 in a free gimme pick. A free gimme pick looks like higher or lower than a half total point for a basketball player, or higher or lower than a half total plate appearance for a Major League Baseball player. So take advantage of that free pick'em and the 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Use the promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP, and click that link in the description down below.
Yeah, the QR code above my head here. Scan it and download Underdog Fantasy, and then use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, and then start playing and to win some money.
This is interesting from JD Gacha. Thank you, man. Before we get out of here with the super, he says, I'm subscribed to the weekly Why Am I a Mets Fan podcast. That's a hilarious name. The hosts are solid and would be a good interview on John and Jim in the future. Appreciate that. We don't really interview like multiple hosts, and we don't typically have people from podcasts, although it might be something to consider for something like the wrap-up show, but that's a funny name for a YouTube channel. Why Am I a Mets Fan? You could probably start a podcast called Why Am I a Padres Fan?
Right.
Based on, because the Mets have 2 World Series titles. I think that's correct. And the Padres don't. The Mets have been around, 7 years longer? I think since 62, but appreciate you, JD Gacho. And for everyone here tonight, please subscribe. I think we're about 40 subscribers away from 8,900. We want to get to 9,000 by the deadline. We need your help. So if you haven't subscribed, I know a number of you here right now have not subscribed to this channel. So please subscribe. We have year-round content for you. And then join us on John and Jim. Please subscribe to that channel as well. We've got you covered for 4 hours every weekday. We'll talk to Kevin Acee tomorrow as we lead you up to the trade deadline on Thursday. So make sure to join us tomorrow on John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. And, of course, in the wrap-up show tomorrow night following Padres and Mets as the Padres get back to Petco Park. Support our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, our friends at Humul Casino, SeatGeek, and Underdog Fantasy. And please subscribe to this channel and smash the like button for us. And thank you for the super thanks if you are here on replay as well. Padres split in St. Louis. They're coming home with the trade deadline approaching. And for Jim, I'm John. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. and then tomorrow night on the wrap-up show. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.